So hello guys, this is Dr. Mariusz Monczak and Tips on Violin Playing for all artists. Today I'd like to talk about etude number 9 by Kreutzer and also how we can apply this in a real music. Because this theme is ongoing. And today I was learning a new piece by Jean-Marie Leclerc, Allegro, one of his sonatas. And I'm telling you, I was struck by how many techniques I was using, even from those 9 first etudes. So, for example, when we have this, the Leclerc Allegro, when we have this first, even this, this is from the grande déchet. So I have and then the 4 notes. So, even here the etude number 9, and then you have a. So I have at the tip of the bow martele, etude number 5. So it's the two. So I have this. So I have this here. I have a staccato. So etude number 4, we have a. This we didn't get this bowing yet, but it's in later editions. And then you have also from etude number 7, exactly almost the same pattern. You have like this. So you cannot get wrong with that. So etude number 7. Because we have to also place Kreutzer in a certain place in music. I mean, he was born in 1766, and his blossom years were in Paris during the Revolution and after. So the pieces he knew exactly were pieces written especially in the Baroque period and in, let's say, early classical. So and all those etudes were kind of dealing with the problems to help in this period of time. So I don't know if Leclerc Kreutzer was playing this Allegro by Leclerc, but by Leclerc, French composer though, so they were neighbors maybe. So in a way it is. It is foreseeable that those etudes were kind of helping to achieve mastery on the violin to play those pieces. So that's why it's so useful to see and kind of separate a problem from from the real pieces to an etude. And then see them exactly where they stand. Even the etude number 3, when you have this. And I have here exactly the same pattern in a way, of connecting notes. So I have a 2 separate. So on. So this is something that I'm stressing more and more, is that I would not be able to play this so well in a way just practicing 5 minutes um, if I would not have those techniques in my, kind of repertoire. And also, what's also is important to point out is that, you know, the techniques are kind of getting used by playing them. So they are a little bit like, you have a saw, and you have to sharpen the saw. And it's not only like you can, cut the wood with the saw, without sharpening the saw. So this is one of the key also issues to sharpen the saw, to really work on those tiny bits of technique and make them as perfect as possible, almost perfect, second best perfect was Aristotle was saying about second best, and then you can use that, freely in music. Even today, I was trying to play some pieces and I was not really comfortable, and I did 12 études by Kreutzer, and then I felt much more comfortable, much more at ease with playing. So it is something magical about those etudes that I'm trying to tell you to work on them, and because you can believe me or not, but you have to try out yourself and find out if it's working or not, and don't expect miracles after one or two runs. It's a long process, and it's a long process for to mastery, to anything. If you want to master anything, it needs a lot of time, devotion, and good teachers as well. But what I found also that those Kreutzer etudes they get neglected. Of course, people they play one or two etudes, but not keep them as a whole, as a one unit. So this etude number 9, when we have here, it's when I have, for example, this for example. So I'm changing the strings, that's what Kreutzer wants me. I play the one string and the second string, one string. And that what usually happens is that we are changing the strings all the time. Unexpectedly, it's not like we're playing on one string. Yeah, we have 4 strings and we have to, expect to change them freely. And for example, look, I have here at bar 17 in Jean-Marie Leclerc, this piece, this Allegro. So what I had here, I have on E string 4. So I just put them up. I have to put them down, all of them. So exactly the same. So I have here another one exactly. So you see, I don't have a repeated what Kreutzer wants from the like this, but more like this. So almost the same pattern, but a little bit different. And you see, I have also this in Kreutzer when you from the first finger. So I have here also the first finger. You see, I'm changing positions. I'm going to the second position. And the positions are close, but the fingers, they actually work a bit differently in each position. And this is a little bit feeling of a different, because it's closer to you. It's almost the same, but not the same. So here we see in the Kreutzer, this etude, I have also going up. So you see, I have a first position, second position, third, fourth, and I'm staying fourth, jumping to the second, first, second. So you see, and what I have here, I have in l'éclair, first position, second position, third position, and I'm going on to the E string. And then, you know, the second etude, you know, the grande déchet. So, you know, this is something that, you know, that's what I'm saying. It's useful to play etudes, Kreutzer etudes, and you can make those parallels, you know, easily in almost in any piece. And you know, I said if I would not have those etudes in my, you know, kind of in my nervous system, you know, in my hands, sort of, I would spend, let's say, maybe weeks learning this Allegro by Leclerc, and you know, the quality might not be there because I would make out of this Leclerc, I would make an etude. I would actually have to work my fingers there, and you know, the quality would suffer. I mean, Leclerc didn't write Allegro as an etude. He wrote it, you know, as a piece of music, as a, you know, a dance, something that should be played, you know, for people's enjoyment. And usually, when we don't play scales, when we don't play etudes, what happens? I mean, naturally, we make those, you know, these little pieces our etudes. And I remember I had a talk with Vladimir Spivakov, you know, when he came to Montreal, and I asked him, Master, what kind of exercises are you playing? He said, I play none. I said, what kind of maybe scales? I said, I play none. I said, I just play in the pieces. But you know, he was extremely gifted, and he is extremely gifted musician. You know, he playing well, but you know, but he's not a conductor. He's not a, you know, let's say he plays from some time to time also violin, but you know, his main occupation is a being conductor. And frankly speaking, his recital was not a huge success in Montreal. You could tell that he was not practicing enough, and there was not enough energy there. He was kind of trying to get by. And you know, what I'm saying is that you know, those big guys, they also sometimes, some of them, they play etudes and scales or not. I'm just saying is that you know, let's say the average people, you know, not so gifted, maybe they should really work on an etude. But also there's a danger, right? If you're playing too much of etudes, then it's kind of, your playing suffers too, because it's too mechanical and that does not have enough of feeling. That's why, you know, playing, let's say, lots of Baroque music, which is sort of easier technically, let's say, than you know, later, like romantic music or 20th century music, and kind of, it's easy to understand. There's dances, there's melody, there's you know, major, minor intonations, you know, there's a polyphony very often, so it's easier to understand, and it's enjoyable to play them. And but you actually can learn like basic stuff better, and then you can use that in a more sophisticated later music. So you know, this awareness of how the music develops, it's also helping you to see that you need to have, you know, all the stairs in a trampoline. You know, you cannot just jump steps and then, you know, find out yourself that you have to go to the basics because you don't have enough of the basic knowledge of you know, music making, and you need somebody to always tell you how to play music. You know, the goal is just to be independent, right? That you know what you're doing, you enjoy playing music, but you don't have to listen to other people saying, okay, you have to do this and this and that. You know, if you want to be a soloist or a chamber musician, you need to you need to make your own decisions, and those decisions, you know, should be, let's say, correct in a way, like musically, aesthetically, not wrong decisions, because you know, you can also make your own decisions, but they are wrong. You know, but we have to be always aware that, you know, that some decisions can be wrong, and some decisions should be, you know, we have to pay attention what we do. I mean, it's I'm also making lots of mistakes everywhere, but I try to be aware of what I'm doing and find out always the best possible outcome for for a piece, for my for a day, and trying to improve. So anyway, this is enough for today. Thank you very much for watching, and tune in next time, and I hope you enjoyed it. Bye bye. Take care.